Dogyun examined Suho's complexion as he sat on the bed, clearly worried after Suho had been unconscious for 2 days. Their eyes met, and Dogyun couldn't contain his guilt any longer. He abruptly started apologizing for running away on his own during the incident. As an E-rank hunter, Dogyun's physical abilities were only slightly better than those of an ordinary person, making him feel insignificant and humiliated compared to Suho's heroic actions in the face of danger. Suho, despite being an ordinary civilian, had exceeded all expectations by saving people until he fainted. This stark contrast weighed heavily on Dogyun's mind. Suho, however, calmly accepted Dogyun's apology, assuring him that there was no need to feel sorry. Dogyun continued to apologize profusely, feeling that no amount of words could express his regret. To make amends, Dogyun took out a steaming bowl of porridge from his shopping bag and set it in front of Suho. He suggested that porridge was better on an empty stomach and offered a spoon, hoping to provide some comfort to Suho. Suho's stomach growled loudly, and the scent of sesame oil filled the air from the beef porridge. The texture and flavor were perfect, and Suho eagerly spooned the porridge into his mouth, savoring it after 2 days without food. Then Dogyun offered to peel an apple for him, and Suho noticed there were apples in the refrigerator. Dogyun had been visiting him repeatedly while he was unconscious over the past 2 days. Suho was surprised by the attention from the teaching assistant, considering he wasn't physically hurt after leveling up. As Suho considered extending his stay at the hospital, Dogyun handed him an apple slice and asked about the people who had left the room earlier. Suho explained they were from the Hunters Association and had come to measure his mana. Dogyun's eyes widened in surprise when he learned Suho had truly awakened. He asked about Suho's mana level, assuming it would be high since Suho had survived in a D-rank dungeon. Suho revealed that he was an E-rank, causing Dogyun's eyes to widen even more. Suho then unfolded the mana test result sheet that the association staff had left behind. Dogyun was taken aback by Suho's mana score, noting that it was on the lower side, even for an E-rank. He couldn't hide his disappointment, which Suho immediately picked up on. Suho teased Dogyun, suspecting that he had hoped to flatter him if he turned out to be an impressive hunter. Feeling misunderstood, Dogyun leaped to his feet, placing the result sheet on the table. He earnestly explained that he had thought Suho might be a D-rank at most, not someone extraordinary, hence his surprise. Trying to comfort Suho, Dogyun emphasized that being an E-rank had its perks. He pointed out that being an E-rank was actually more stable than being a mediocre D-rank, offering a sense of security and predictability. Then he patted Suho on the shoulder, trying to cheer him up. He assured Suho that now, having awakened, he could count on Dogyun for guidance. As an experienced E-rank, Dogyun promised to lead Suho into the world of E-rank hunters, helping him navigate this new chapter of his life. Dungeon conquests operated through a division of responsibilities. The assault team would first conquer the dungeon, followed by the collection team, which gathered the carcasses of the beasts. Finally, the mining team would enter to extract resources from the dungeon. Among these roles, E-rank hunters handled almost everything except the initial attack. Dogyun's this statement was accurate. D-rank hunters were the weakest among those qualified to join the assault team, making their position the most dangerous. In contrast, E-rank hunters were excluded from combat forces, allowing them to work in safer environments performing manual labor and earning a steady income, which was quite favorable. Dogyun explained that some E-rank hunters took the risk of volunteering for combat forces due to urgent financial needs. But it wasn't common, as hospital bills could be high unless they had a close friend who was a healer. Suho keenly absorbed Dogyun's explanation as they arrived at the Hanguk University Art Gallery, surprised to return so soon after leaving the hospital. Looking at the heavily damaged art gallery, Suho thought, all because of Baru. Suho's purpose for the visit was to become a miner. Except for the Shadow Dungeon, this was his first real dungeon, so he accepted Dogyun's offer to help without hesitation. Dogyun informed Suho that the school had switched to online classes until the dungeon was completely cleared, and assumed Suho would take a leave of absence now that he had become a hunter. Suho confirmed. noting that the semester was practically over. Dogyun enthusiastically promised to submit Suho's hunter leave application. With an air of authority, Dogyun's eyes shone brightly as he prepared to guide Suho on the life of a wise E-rank hunter, starting with the duties of a miner. However, Beru suddenly emerged from Suho's shadow, startling Dogyun. Seeing the magic beast, Dogyun stumbled backward in fear. Beru, with a contemptuous gaze, criticized Dogyun for being easily frightened and suggested that Suho should learn about being a hunter from him. The ant explained that a true hunter is born to kill and dominate the enemy, harnessing all their power just as he had witnessed countless times before. Just as Beru was passionately explaining the essence of a hunter, he noticed Suho's perplexed reaction, prompting him to ask what Suho was doing. Suho reached out and grabbed Beru like a baseball. "Why did you suddenly come out?" he asked. "My apologies, but I sensed a dungeon's energy nearby. Right now, my young lord, you're as weak as a helpless ant, so I must stay close to protect you and provide reassurance," Beru explained. His body stretched smoothly and slipped out of Suho's hand. The pocket-sized magic beast then perched on Suho's shoulder, scanning the surroundings with a stern expression. Suho was determined not to be fooled by the monster, thinking that Beru talks big, but would probably just yap from the sidelines in a fight. Dogyun, snapping out of his initial surprise, cautiously pointed at Beru and asked if he was a summoned creature. Before Suho could respond, Beru answered firmly, explaining that he wasn't a summon, but rather Suho's father's creature. Dogyun, already feeling at a disadvantage, started speaking formally, asking what Beru was, if not a summon. Beru's eyes flashed intensely as he declared himself to be Suho's nurse ant. Confused, Dogyun tilted his head, trying to make sense of the term. Beru elaborated, saying it was something like an uncle by human standards, which only added to Suho's bewilderment. Ignoring Beru's peculiar explanation, Dogyun asked Suho directly if he had awakened as a summoner hunter. Suho confirmed, albeit somewhat uncertainly, that he thought so. Dogyun found it intriguing that Suho was an E-rank summoner, a rarity in their world. Summoners were generally seen as undesirable due to their limited combat abilities, and being an E-rank hunter with summoning skills seemed to place Suho at the bottom of the hierarchy. Curiosity led Dogyun to scrutinize Beru, who stood perched on Suho's shoulder. Initially startled by Beru's sudden appearance, Dogyun now found the small creature somewhat delicate and even cute. He wondered aloud what use such a summon could have. Beru, taking offense at Dogyun's skeptical gaze, retorted with a threat, showcasing his quick awareness and ability to converse, which made Dogyun reconsider the ant's potential usefulness. He pointed out that many E-rank hunters lacked any special skills, making Suho relatively lucky. He then mentioned his own skill, which was running. Suho's innocent remark about Dogyun's running skill hurting Dogyun, especially because it was a truthful observation about why he had fled during the earlier incident. The next day, following his teaching assistant's advice, Suho became a miner. The mining team, composed of E-rank hunters, had an atmosphere reminiscent of a construction site. One of the workers, distributing pickaxes, greeted Suho with a friendly smile and instructed him to return for a replacement if the pickaxe broke, noting that the cost would be deducted from his daily earnings. The man remarked on Suho's impressive nature and mentioned that he was a student at the school. Surprisingly, many miners recognized Suho and approached him warmly. This recognition stemmed from a news article circulating the internet for the past 2 days, titled something like, "Becoming a Hero of Hanguk University, an E-rank Hunter." Suho reflected that as a civilian, he might have received a Brave Citizen's Award for his heroics at the art gallery incident. However, due to his sudden awakening as a hunter, he was simply reported as such. Being a hunter of the lowest rank, public opinions about his heroics were mixed. Fortunately, his mining team sympathized with his situation. Even they offered him plenty of advice, expressing that while being an E-rank might seem limiting, it allowed for a decent living through manual labor. They noted that wielding a pickaxe was straightforward and didn't require special skills. The friendly and welcoming atmosphere among the miners was palpable, though Beru remained unimpressed and urged Suho to focus on leveling up instead of socializing. The miners marveled at Beru's sudden appearance, finding the small creature intriguing and somewhat cute, though questioning his usefulness for mining. In response, Beru emitted an aura of hostility and warned them to stay away from Suho, whom he fiercely protected. After some playful banter at Beru's expense, the miners resumed their work, and Suho had an idea. He called Beru and instructed him to retrieve some goblin corpses from the shadow dungeon. Beru, ready to defend Suho at all costs, acknowledged the command and prepared to carry it out.